Why, hello, Beth. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting with me today. I am so stoked to have you here and chat about your journey, your travels, your connection to dolphins and angels and all kinds of things. So, thank you for being here.
Yeah, I'm excited.
We met back in 2012.
Yeah, we met a really long time ago. We
Yeah.
met well, that was another lifetime for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. All the other lifetimes. I think at the time you were making beautiful jewelry and even then you were doing some channeling. And I still remember having a session with you and thinking, holy shit, this woman is connected to the spirit realm.
Mhm.
So yeah, since then you've been traveling the world and we've kept in touch over the years. So yeah, it's been lovely to
Yeah,
watch
I'm
you.
so glad that we're still connected after all this time.
Yeah, me too. So that leads into my first question. When did you know that you had a gift for connecting to and channeling not only angels but other beings?
Yeah, well, it's probably around when we met, and how it really happened was, well, first I was getting into learning about angels and spirit guides, and I was just kind of obsessed. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like, what is this? I love it. And then I started making custom crystal jewelry for people.
Mm,
And I would sit with them for half an hour or an hour conversation or whatever, and just kind of get to know them a little bit so I could pick the right crystal to make their necklace with, and a
mm,
couple crystals. And I would just start getting these messages. Like, I'm like, is anything going on with your dad? I was very kind of hesitant because I was like, what
mm,
is this? Why am I getting this random feeling for these people that I don't know?
yeah.
But then people would just resonate and really affirm what I was kind of bringing through. So then, and I feel like people started coming to me to get crystals partially because they heard that I also, reflected things for them in those little sessions to get to know
Mm.
them. So that's kind of how it started. And yeah, it's just been a journey since then. And I just love all the pals in the realms, and they're my favorite.
Mm. And then also, I mean, within that question is how did you know that you wanted to shift out of, doing custom jewelry, which was beautiful. I had three pieces, into more of a role of, divine feminine in business and quantum mentorship and all of that, just those beautiful offerings.
Yeah, well, I remember being really frustrated with the crystal pieces because I was very into environmentalism at the time, which I still am, but I was
Mm.
in a I guess even more intense way than I am now, but I'm still am anyway. So I was like, oh, the chains, like I didn't know, how everything was being mined to get the materials, and it
Mm.
just was not feeling so aligned for me. And I I think it was just my higher self of my soul guiding me to where I needed to be, because I really do feel one of my main gifts, if not my main gifts for the world in terms of offerings, is transmission and channeling
Mm.
and really working with my voice.
Yeah.
So I think that creating physical products, what I love about that, especially when you're just starting out, is it gives you something tangible that you can be
Mm.
like, I created this and this has energy in it and I can sell it and I can understand its value because I can see it because it's physical.
Yeah.
And then from there, I started getting more confidence just in the intangible offerings that I had, which I think was a really amazing way for me to get confidence to just do workshops and one-on-one journeys and courses with people. So I
Mm.
really love that about, I don't know if you had that experience because you made so many physical products, but I feel like you were
Really.
confident before that too. But yeah, that was my experience, and I just loved it. I just love channeling and transmitting. So when it's like when you know.
When you know, you know. And also how for you, because I know it's probably different for each person that experiences divine messages coming through, or maybe it's not. I think it probably is. But how do you experience connection?
Okay, this is a great question because I feel people think that people that, transmit and channel and connect with angels and, light beings, because of, I think, the more famous people that are writing books and they're just like, I'm getting it word for word as a voice in
Mm,
my head and I'm seeing this being. And it is not like that at all for me. It is so subtle. It's
mm,
really just feeling frequency and translating frequency. And sometimes I'll get word for word messages, but it's really subtle. It's like even right now I hear almost like etheric chimes from
mm,
the light beings that are here with us, and and then I can feel it because it's like if your friend calls you and you don't have caller ID, based on the tone of their voice you can discern where it's coming from. So these
mm.
chimes that I'm hearing, they feel sort of elven to me. They feel a bit angelic. So then I can say, oh, okay, this is the elven sort of angelic energy coming in with these chimes. And I can open that up and I can feel kind of sparkly energy and unholding us. So it's very subtle, but just learning to trust. And I think that's why doing one-on-one sessions helped me so much, whether they were just at the start kind of by accident doing crystals. I wasn't supposed to be doing sessions, or doing them on my friends, because I was able to go, oh, that feeling is that. And then I would have someone go, yes, that resonates.
Mm,
That's like correct for me. And then I just
mm.
got to practice that validation of bringing something through from the spirit realm. So I just have a lot of practice of
Yeah,
trusting the subtlety.
that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and working with so many different bodies. You have this file folder, like you said. I love the way that you said that. When your friend calls and you don't have caller ID, it's his friend because of the tone of their voice and how they sound. That's such a beautiful way to reference it. What a gift, and how long it has taken you to hone in on that. This means this. This is this being. This is that. Yeah, I'm floored by that because I think you know each of us come in with different ways that we can express, but not everyone is or has taken the time to be as connected in that space. So it's really beautiful.
Yeah, and I also think too, people miss the messages that they're getting from, they consciously, a lot of them do
Right.
come through in the dreams and subconsciously and through other people, but they will miss them and they'll be like, oh, I don't have that connection to spirit guides or angels or to my star family,
Mhm.
because they think that it's going to be this huge, like, again, like a voice
Yeah.
or, a vision. And a lot of it is just so subtle that we miss it, and it's just slowing down in your life and meditating more and being in nature more so your senses become more refined, and then asking
Mm,
for it. I ask
mm.
for it a million times, well, maybe not a million times a day, but so often I'm like, before we met, I was having a shower, so my hair's wet, and I didn't have a bunch of time this morning because I worked out and I'm on a cleanse, so I had to do all my juices and stuff. So I didn't have time to fully meditate. So I was just in the shower calling on all of my guides. I was calling on, White Buffalo Woman and Isis and the archangels and Mother Mary and my star family and the Elven realms. And I was just like doing that in the shower. So every day I'm inviting them into, I say, thank you for protecting me, for guiding me, for mentoring me, for blessing me, and bringing them in as a circle around me.
Mm,
And then of course my higher self and my soul, because that's like that's who we're really meant to be connecting with primarily.
mm,
And yeah, so really just calling it in every day also helps, because it's like, are you going to hear your friend better if you invited them over for tea, or if you're trying to telepathically communicate across the country? It's like if you
mm.
invite them into your space, it's probably going to be easier to have more of that easily understandable connection.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. And even just, I loved, how in tune you are. White Buffalo Woman is very profound, or been a very profound archetype and symbol and a piece of guidance in my life in many different journeys. So even the fact that you brought that up now, there's no coincidences.
Yeah, and you're like, so you're living on the lands, and that area obviously that I'm
Mm,
from too is like
mm,
buffalo
yeah.
country. It's like so White Buffalo Woman. So I love that.
Beautiful. And so I wonder within that, when you are getting ready to either connect with your higher self or, someone else's higher self or some other type of presence, do you have a process that's the same all of the time, or is it just a matter of connecting in each day and just knowing kind of whatever
Yeah.
guidance is meant to come will come?
I used to, when I first gave sessions, when I first would, I feel like I would have half an hour before the session and I would meditate and I would pull cards and I would really connect with them because I was, oh man, like what if I'm not able to make the connection? Like
Mhm.
that'd be so embarrassing. They're coming to me for a session, but they always would. And at this point, it's just like, no, I can be totally um doing so many different things and just sit down with someone and instantly just drop in, just because I also think it's like, yeah, living, if I'm meditating and praying often throughout the week and I'm taking care of my body and I'm being in nature, I am setting the resonance in the space for connection all the time.
Yeah.
And I will say it does seem to come a bit faster
Mm,
in a more coherent way if I've just had a deep meditation, obviously, because
yeah.
I'm in that liminal space. Um, but I just think it's intention. So just intending to connect in and tune in, and also trusting the process, because if I'm sitting with someone or if I'm sitting with myself and I'm kind of, bringing in channeling or guidance or information, um, it's like following the thread, or it's a domino. It's like you start with a little piece of like, oh, this is a glimmer of what I just got. And then I'll speak it
Mm,
aloud. And then the glimmer will take me to another glimmer and another, or a
mm,
domino effect. And then it's like going on an adventure. So also,
mm,
for everybody listening, wanting to connect more with their guides, with their angels, maybe work with other people more deeply, is just really what's coming through is being okay if it's just a glimmer, like, oh, I just saw purple in your aura and that's all I saw right now, and
mm,
how beautiful. And then just seeing if that purple has a message, or if that purple has a friend that it wants to introduce you to.
mm.
Yeah.
So I love that. I love being curious about what's given in the way of these glimmers, because how else, right? It's got to start somewhere. And quite often, as you spoke to, it's not this, oh, the voice of God is in my room right now. Oh, he just moved something over there, or a map of Asia appeared for me before me, and now I know I need to go there. It's usually, the breadcrumbs and taking that piece of, oh, I went outside and I really was drawn to that leaf on the ground and the colors really stood out to me, or
Mm.
the sky was extra bright today, or I saw a deer, as I did actually this morning out my back window as I was sitting in bed drinking tea. And it felt for a moment there was a pause and there was a connection, through the window. We met eye to eye. And I was like, oh, you probably have a message for me today, And yeah, I just love that because it can really be so simple as that.
Absolutely. And also, I think in our data obsessed, information obsessed world, we're
Mhm.
obsessed with wanting like information and
Right.
big messages. But like, also, what's really important to know is like, say for that deer, like if someone else had that experience, then there's a deer, they're like, oh my God, what does it mean? What is the message?
Yeah.
It's like, for us, just set the intention. I receive all of the love, the light, the abundance from my guides, my angels, my ancestors, Mother, Father, God, Mother Earth today. I choose to receive. Yes, thank you. And just trust that your conscious mind doesn't have to understand
Mm,
basically any of it. And
yeah.
you're going to get the message, and you're going to get so much, because there's so much happening that the conscious mind does not pick up. And
Mm,
then maybe it's next week you're like, oh, I just had this random idea to go to this place, but actually that was, because you invited that guidance in and you said you're open, it made its way through you, and at the divine timing it came through as a thought. And you're like, oh my God, I never get
mm.
messages from my guides, it's so annoying. But like, really, that inspired of like, oh, I want to go to this place, and then you met a new friend, oh my God, I
Yeah.
met a new friend, that's so cool. Is actually like, the information is coming. So
Mm,
just allow yourself to receive it, say yes. And even if you don't feel it, you don't hear it, I promise you that these beings are so powerful. They love you so much. And let's take a moment to stop for a second and say, like, well, who are we going to be inviting in? Well, for sure, just you, your soul, your higher self. That's you. That's your divinity that's, living in heaven, the heavenly realms all the time, and has a very huge understanding of what you're doing here. Well, God, Mother, Father, God, Source, Universe, Goddess, whatever you want to say, Gaia, the consciousness of Gaia. And then you can ask your spirit guides and angels of divine love to come in. And if you want to work with any animals, like you said, like the deer, or you're interested in certain ascended masters, White Buffalo Woman Isis, Mary Magdalene, you can just invite them in and say, I invite you in. I'm willing to receive from you. And I also, if you have certain beings that you come across in an oracle deck and you've never heard of them and you're not really sure who they are, what I would also say is ask them to come in. Say you're working with ISIS, but you're like, oh, who's ISIS? That shares a name with a terrorist organization. That's scary. I don't know if this is an actual being that I should trust, but I kind of am curious. You can say, I call upon Isis, who comes in divine love and divine light in the name of God. And if that being is not going to be the most beautiful, loving, wise being, if that being is not that, then they won't be able to come through. So that's a way that also, if you're new to connecting with these energies and you're like, I don't want to call it, if you had some of the programming in being scared of your psychic gifts and things, but also it's good to be discerning, because not every being in the ethers is going to be the highest and best for you to call on. So you can just ask for that, and then you're good.
It sounds like having boundaries.
Yeah, have boundaries with the spirit
boundaries
world.
with the spirit world. And become discerning. Yeah, I mean, thank you. I think our listeners are really going to gain so much from that, because it can be a prayer. Your everyday life can just be a prayer of receivership and asking for guidance, learning how to receive guidance, and acknowledging that whether we believe it or not, it's there for us pretty much 24/7. There's just always things at play that are trying to either get our attention or draw our awareness. And usually, like you said, we don't have to know. We don't have to know what it means. We rely so heavily on this logical mind that we forget about all of these other miraculous senses that are going on, and they're there to guide us into these unknown places in the most beautiful way that we could never have thought up on our own. Yeah.
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 Let it be simple.
Let it be simple. Words for the day. Let it be simple. For those of you wishing to dive into the world of somatic healing and get a taste of what it's like to discover the wisdom of your body, I'm offering $100 off my signature course, Reclaiming Resilience, to the listeners of this episode. It is a self-paced 5-week course that teaches you how to be with big emotions and sensations. It expands your capacity for more joy, more love, and more pleasure, while you also learn how to access your boundaries, intuition, and build safety within your body. Essentially, you'll be learning how to harness the power of your nervous system and welcome in more clarity, authentic communication, and fulfilling relationships. In the program, we are changing the way that we perceive ourselves, our patterns, and our limiting beliefs, as well as finding our unique voice. Use the code, all caps, feel good at checkout. And for those of you who are seeking one-on-one support, I also offer coaching and therapy packages and one-on-one sessions. I'll pop all of that information in the show notes. And now let's get back to the show.
Well, and if it's like really crazy and cosmic and quantum, sometimes that happens too.
Totally.
But just
right?
Let it be simple.
And so I'm wondering, Beth, even within all of, what we're speaking to, I'm wondering how your connection has helped you along on your own healing journey.
Man, I don't understand how people function in this world without Applause to everybody.
Applause.
I like lean on it so heavily. Well, like everything, it's really, so how I sort of see it is like, okay, here's my soul, my higher self. My intention is to get more and more of my soul into my body, basically every
Mm,
single day. We talk about the ascension process, which is funny because probably the more appropriate term would be descension for what, we're going through in the spiritual path, which is really allowing the higher self, the soul, our true essence, to really come into our bodies. And when you hear,
mm,
people talk about embodiment, what are they talking about? That's what they're talking about. They might
yeah,
have different languaging for it, but it's
that's
like
right.
getting you in your body,
Yeah.
right? So that's, what I'm calling on, and to guide me into, to show me the way. And then I have my team of mentors, just like you have mentors, maybe in the physical, if you're blessed to have awesome mentors in your life.
Mm,
I have my mentors, so the ascended masters, the archangels, the animals, the dolphins. And of course, all of this is coming from source, from Gaia, or from, yeah, from Gaia too.
mhm.
But it's all God, it's all Mother, Father, God. So when it's like, I'm like, it's, to me, is how could I not, what else would I do in my life than be in that place of receiving? Because it's like, my soul has a mission here. My soul has a destiny here. My soul has certain things that it's meant to set in motion. My soul is here to co-create the new earth, the golden age of miracles that's coming in. My soul is here to support the liberation of all beings. So
Mm,
if I'm not asking my soul and my team and my soul star family for help every day, remembering, because this is a place of amnesia, like we
yeah,
forget.
yeah.
So if I was just like, oh, whatever, I'll just like not ask and just
I'm
knowing that
alone.
he's,
I'm
yeah, I'm
alone.
alone, it's all
Yeah.
good, it's fine. I think I would be really confused because we go through the veils, we have amnesia, and but we also all have, well, if you're listening, you've got a soul mission, like to serve. And people, you're not going to be satisfied in your life unless you're in alignment with your mission of service. Like you're just
Mm,
something's going to be missing,
yeah.
and you're always going to be looking for it. So connecting with your soul, connecting with your team, like for me, that's just like the way that I personally get the promptings of what I'm meant to be doing. And then as
Yeah.
a result, I feel very, very satisfied in terms of purpose, in terms of service.
Mm,
And that really guides my life so much.
yeah. It's so true what you said. If you came here with a mission, which we all did, but
Yeah,
like
depending
when
on what you're here to experience.
exactly, and we're all here to experience something different, but I can really speak to a time in my life where I was doing all of these things and yeah, selling products and doing a lot and it felt okay, but there was something missing. There was something really, really big missing for me in all of those things that I was doing. And I know that they've all led me to where I am today. But now some of the missing pieces of that puzzle have been revealed to me. And what a different way to move and walk in the world when there's clarity, when there's embodiment, when there is this aspect of knowing that you're being led by not only yourself, your higher self, but you're also life. Like life is helping you along. And what a beautiful way to express.
Hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think when you're there, you can have you can be like, you have all your human feelings and and that's still gonna happen. But
Yeah,
it's
of
like
course.
you have your center of just like this piece still of, okay, I knew, you have that, remember, I knew this was going to be crazy. I knew this mission was going to be a lot.
Yeah,
But your mission still is guiding you. So it kind of holds that center point for you when you're connected.
totally. And it feels less grasping at air.
Yeah.
The feeling of like, I need to do this in order for this to happen. I need to be here, and all of these things, all this pressure, all this, I need to know, I need to know, I need to know becomes what's my next step? What is the very next
Mm-hmm.
step I need to take today? How can
Yes.
I serve myself and others today? And so living more, I guess I would say, in the present moment has been, one of the most joyful things that I've personally experienced. And I guess that would be true with channeling, and it's true with meditation. We drop into these zones where there is just infinite wisdom, an infinite resourcefulness available to us. And so, yeah, I love where this conversation is going because it truly is available once we start looking and tuning into the right channels.
Yeah, and sometimes that process in our journey is dropping into the present, and embodiment is painful
Yeah,
because it's
absolutely.
dropping
Quite often it
into
is. Yeah,
quite often it is because it's your soul coming into the trauma. It's your soul coming
that's
into
right.
the chakras, into your root chakra, into your sacral chakra, especially
Yeah.
these lower centers that are holding this density, this pain, this ancestral, yeah, all of it. So yeah, sometimes like for me, I'm in this process where I'm like, I'm having to really remind myself, just be present with today, as I'm on this nomadic journey that
That's right.
didn't even know I was going on. Like literally 3 years in, and I didn't even know that I was starting it. Um and yeah, just being present with the pain and the confusion that's in my root chakra, and really going like, no, I'm just going to be here with this. And so
Mm,
yeah, just being in that present moment in that embodiment process, like you're not doing it wrong if you're like, oh, why is it hurting?
yeah.
Like that sounds probably about right sometimes, not all the time, right? But like
Yeah. Yeah, you speak to such an important thing. It doesn't feel good always, and nor is it meant to. Like, we're here to
yeah, because
experience it all.
it's like you got 20 screaming, crying children, like in your root chakra, maybe. And then you
That's
like
right.
go walk into the room. You're like, well, this room sucks. Let me go to
Is there another room I can go to right now? Show me.
another root chakra room that's available for me at this time. But the kids are just like, yo, bro, one of it's wearing a hat of ancestral, okay, all the things. And then you
Mm,
got different hats, and like, gotta go over and give them all hugs and
that's
be
right.
with the irritation that you have. And you're like, I don't feel like doing this right now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's like that's what makes life so powerful. And also that's what calls abundance in so many
Yeah.
different ways. That's what calls in just this feeling of being here, being like, yes, like I'm here, I'm living. Like I'm not, like I can tell you, like I'm not going to be on my deathbed being like, oh man, I wish I, showed. No, it's like I'm here. I want to be here, even if it's painful. I'm here to serve. Do I get it perfect all the time? No,
Mm.
but just show up in the room and see what the room holds. Whatever room you're in, the embodiment room. It might have a bunny, I don't know, but
Mhm. Yeah, it could have bunnies or snakes or tornadoes.
tornadoes,
Could-
and my root chakra room, has been, man, it's been a tornado for a while now. And also,
Yeah.
to understand that we're not just healing this life, and we're not just healing even our ancestry. We're also in this lifetime, because of the times that we're in and this prophesized age that we're in,
Mm,
we're also healing our other lifetimes
yeah.
simultaneously through this body. So every time we've been, you know, traumatized deeply in another lifetime,
Mm,
we're also healing that through this body, because this time, this incarnation for us is a really powerful, important one where we're bringing it all together. But on that note,
mm,
we also have other aspects of us that are like, wow, super advanced, living in different star systems, or living in Atlantis or Lemuria golden age, and they have so much wisdom and
mm.
code. So it's like being in that unified field with ourselves, inviting more of that in, can help us. So
Mm.
we're not just a hot mess. We're also we're also pure cosmic power.
Yeah. Did y'all hear that? If you're incarnate and listening to this podcast right now, y'all are hardcore in all the best ways. Coming here to experience both the extremes of intense suffering and intense joy and everything in between.
Yeah, and
Mm,
transmuting it and coming back into I am a student of the Sophia Code, which is the book behind me. It's more than a book, it's a mystery school
mm,
from a woman called Kaya Ra channeled it through with White Buffalo Woman and these different ascended masters. And I forget exactly what the line is, but she talks about how in this lifetime we're like kind of collapsing it all into a 0 point field of every lifetime we've
mm,
ever lived. It's like we're unifying it in this body. We don't do that in every single lifetime.
mm.
This lifetime is a special one because we're at the prophesized age of this new earth that's and this new dawn that we're here to co-create. So this lifetime we're like, whoa, this is a big one.
Yeah. So if it feels big, it's because it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I think people don't give themselves credit. They're like, oh man, like I'm not doing enough. I just felt sad today and I felt sad. And then I watched Netflix and what am I even doing with my life? It's like,
Yeah.
hey, you felt sad and you were brave enough to feel that for 5 minutes today. Like
That's
that,
right.
you're healing it. Like another one of my teachers, Matt Kahn, says, like,
I
if
love
you're
Matt Kahn
feeling,
so much. Oh my
I
God.
love Matt Kahn.
So he's so
Literally
cute.
love him. Everyone needs Matt Kahn as the voice of reason in their lives. And he says, if you're feeling an emotion, you're healing it.
Mm. If you're feeling it,
Yeah, if you're
yes,
feeling it, you're
that's
healing
right.
it.
That's right.
So,
Again, the simplicity. It takes a certain amount of bravery and courage to feel the things. And even if it's for a minute, you can still put it on the shelf. If it becomes too much, you can still have a moment
mhm,
of distraction and then you can come back to it.
yeah.
And quite often it will show you that it wants you to come back to it at another time, you know?
Yeah. And I love that too. It's like you are allowed to distract yourself if the pain
Yeah.
feels too much sometimes, because sometimes it is so much that just putting on a funny movie and just going to sleep and
Yeah.
maybe picking it back up tomorrow and seeing how that feels is also very okay.
Yeah, allowing for rest in different ways, and that looks different for everyone on different days. Yeah, it could look like watching a movie, having some laughs with friends. It could look like, yeah, having a nap that turns into a 3 hour death nap. It could look like any one of those things.
Yeah. Yeah. And some days your soul will say, no, just you are not allowed
That's
distractions
right.
today.
You're sitting in this.
Yeah.
Pull up a blankie, get a cushion, get some tea. Let's go. Let's go. And that also speaks to the discomfort of trying and doing new things, showing up
Mm,
for the ways in our lives the things that we want to do,
mm,
and having that takes building and tending to, I call it nervous system work, but it's like, how much capacity can we build to receive the things that we say we want?
mm,
You can say you want all of these things, but
mhm,
if we haven't looked at the places where we actually don't want to receive those things or where we've been wounded by those things, then a
mm.
lot of the times we can spin our wheels for a very long time.
Yeah, and you know what? I love this. All my teachers are coming in today. I have another mentor. Lots
Perfect.
in the
Who's coming
physical
in?
as well. Humans, angels. And I had such a moment the other day of like, oh, um, because we talked about receiving and
Mm,
the intelligence of what receiving really is.
that's
And
right.
I think I thought that receiving was just like if I was wanting to be receptive, it was like, oh, I can receive more. Like I can receive more
Mm,
abundance. I can receive more of this. But really, what I'm like, oh my God, receiving is actually first step. Most important is receiving what you have right now.
that's right. Right now, which means all the things, the feelings, the sensations, the like all of it, your room, this couch, the
Yeah,
chair.
receiving and like, are
Yeah.
you like really receiving like okay, what do you want in your life? You want more abundance? Okay, I just had a hot shower and I'm like, I received this hot shower because this is abundance. Like it's so abundant to have a hot shower
Yeah.
on tap. Like, oh
Yeah.
my God. And yeah, so that's, I know if you're listening, I just thank you for going on this journey. This is like the channeling experience. It's like one thing
Mm.
to the next thing to the next.
Yeah. Let's go.
But that was so big for me because also my journey, my nomadic journey, I find a lot of the time I keep looking for the next piece, or like a lot of it is really soul guided, but some of it comes from that dissatisfaction from the root of the traumatized root of going like,
That's
oh,
right.
where do I feel safe and where
Yeah.
feels really home for me? But then I can take these points out of what is in my life now that really is what I want. So it's like I'm
Mm.
like right by the ocean and dolphins are swimming by every day, and I've got this gorgeous room that I get to be in and this comfy bed and even white walls, that I just like white walls right now in my life.
Me too.
And like just actually letting yourself receive that. Oh
Yeah.
my God. I know that I was like, oh, I haven't been fully receiving what I have. And so of course I'm
That's right.
always, like, okay, what does my root chakra need to be safe? Probably the next place.
Yeah.
Actually, just receive what you have now and see how that feels for a hot second, little lady.
That's right. It's so true because we can get so wormholed in the dissatisfaction of where we currently reside, and that doesn't breed for more satisfaction.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. We need to be able to really look at the things that bring us deep joy and deep comfort in our life right now, as you spoke to. Right now I'm looking at your room like, damn, she got that Berkey. Berkey's this amazing water filtration system. And wow, you get to travel with it. And I look at this room that I'm in. I love this room. This window behind me is stained glass, this little white cabinet, the ukulele, this bird picture, the little lamp with the tassels. I'm just like, holy shit, I love all of this stuff. It makes me so happy just to take it in. And as I do that, I can feel space
Yeah.
in my belly. Like
Yeah.
right now, as we're talking, I can feel bubbles. I can feel the sensation and it's rising up to my cheeks. I'm like, oh, I'm just taking in my space and just receiving my own stuff in a way that feels so supportive and prepares me for the receivership of whatever other things I may want to call in. And there's nuance to it, of
Mhm.
course, but it's like the
Mhm.
first goal, that the rampage of appreciation, right? I started out with
Mhm.
that Esther Hicks journey,
Yeah.
multiple decades ago, and I never ever got it until I got it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, when gratitude just becomes a way of life. When I go outside and I hear the birds and I see my neighbor and she's got a fresh cup of Joe that says Lisa on it. And she's like, hey, neighbor, top of the morning to you. I'm like, oh my God. And the birds are chirping, and Merlin, my dog, is happy and he's outside and he's flopping around and having a good old time. This is my life right now. And holy shit, does it feel good to sit in this life right now? So that
Yeah.
also, when times of struggle come in, have a
Mhm.
felt sense of that as well. So it's not just all doom and gloom. We have a
Mhm.
reference point to our joy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what I love about that too? It's like literally the last week it's like clicked for me, because it's like appreciation and gratitude for me felt, sometimes I just felt like, oh, gratitude practice. It felt very outward to me. Like, oh,
Right.
I give gratitude for this. I
Yeah.
give gratitude for this. And that I'm not like, I'm a more feminine being. So it doesn't
Mm.
work for my energy to like output, even if
Yeah.
it's gratitude, it actually feels like,
Totally.
wow, this feels work. But then when I put it into the context of receiving and gratitude, but feminine,
Yes.
it's like I receive, it's like I receive it in, like I receive the ocean right now. Wow. Instead of
Mm-hmm.
like, wow, I'm giving gratitude. I'm like, I'm receiving the ocean, and that feels better in my body. And I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
this is so cool.
Exactly. Well, this balance point of like both
Mhm.
giving and receiving.
Yeah. Yeah.
We say the things, we say the prayer of, holy shit, I can't even believe I'm experiencing this right now. And to me, that's a gratitude prayer. It doesn't actually have to be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to make a list of 10 things that I'm grateful for. That's never worked for me. I've tried it,
Yeah.
I've done it, and it's not a feeling in my
Yeah.
body. It needs to be
Yeah.
a feeling in my body. And when that becomes, your everyday life, you don't have to try for it. There's
Yeah.
no like effort really. Oh, I'm just here in this space, in this feeling of gratitude, or at least that's how I experience it anyway. And that first like major experience for me happened actually when I was living on Vancouver Island, which I know we share a
Oh.
love for that island, where I was just literally looking around the environment and being like, oh, oh my God. And actually it happened in New Zealand too. I shouldn't say it was only on Vancouver Island. There's a few times. These are bigger
Mm.
moments. You know, of
Yeah,
course,
yeah,
there
yeah.
can be
I
the
get you.
smaller daily moments, but the big moments where I was brought to my knees
Yeah.
in beauty and in gratitude. And then, you know, some humpback whales passed through, and I was just like,
Oh my God.
oh my God, this is the juiciest day ever. How can it be better than this? You know? And so, yeah, it's the big moments and it's the little moments, but it's also the little moments leading up to the bigger
Mhm.
moments of that gratitude and that receivership.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yes.
so yummy. So yummy. Mm. So,
So,
yeah, go ahead.
shall we weave into transmission territory?
Yeah, you know what? I was just about to ask you. I got transmission on my mind now after we just poured
Mhm.
all of that gratitude in. I was hoping that you'd have a little something
Yeah,
for
yeah,
us
yeah.
today that you could share.
So
So let's do it.
let's telepathically, but from time, space, reality, beyond it, ask the audience, the listeners, what are they needing? What are they wanting? We're gonna get a
Mm,
bit more. That was very magical, but we're gonna get now like really magical.
okay,
So we're
let's
gonna bring in
go.
the
Let's
beings.
go, Beth. Let's go.
So, okay, I'm gonna give you a menu. I'm gonna let you choose. I'm gonna give you
Oh,
a menu of transmission meal. We could do whale, dolphin, ocean vibes.
okay.
We could do angels. We could do Elven Lemurian Gaia vibes.
Mm.
And or we could just do really like soul higher self
Oh.
embodying.
Mm.
That's the menu today.
I mean, that's a
Cafe
pretty
Beth.
that's a feast. That's a feast on that menu. Um, well, when you said the dolphins and whales, I I felt, yeah, just this beautiful, I don't know, heat arising in my belly. But then
And
also, I just want to bring this in when you said the soul thing at the end. Oh,
well, we'll do both. We can
okay.
combine meals. We can
Oh,
combine meals.
we're gonna
Um,
combine the meals.
yeah, this is fun because I can just like weave in whatever, but it's really fun to set a menu. Okay, so on the menu for whales and dolphins, we have all of them.
Mm,
We have my specialties would be the dolphins, the orcas, or the humpback whales, and white
mm.
whales. So we could do all, you can combine. I mean, probably they're gonna show up whether they want to or not, really, whatever you say,
Yeah,
but I'm curious. All of them
totally.
or
I mean, I
one
love
specific?
humpbacks and I'm
Okay,
really
let's do
drawn
it.
to them, but also I also want whatever wants
Yeah,
to come
yeah.
in to come in. Yeah.
Okay, great. I love having a menu because yes, there's so many things I could bring in. Okay, so you have chosen a Cafe Beth. A humpback whale special with other cetacean higher realm beings coming and weaving with
Yeah.
a side slash a main course of soul higher self embodiment
Yeah.
coming right up.
Let's go.
Let's go
Yep.
into the kitchen. Okay.
This is so fun.
Okay. All right. So let's just close our eyes. If you're listening right now, if you've been doing the things which I do when I listen to podcasts, you might just want to pause for a moment, get yourself comfy somewhere, and close your eyes and take a deep breath. And we're just going to take a couple deep breaths, just switching over from this conversational energy into more of a receiving space, liminal space together. So just feeling the breath as it weaves into your body. And I just want you to be present with whatever you are feeling right now and allowing the breath to just say hello to any feelings, whether they may be comfortable or uncomfortable. Imagine that the breath is just weaving in and through them, through your body, and opening up more spaciousness as we call forth the humpback whales. Okay. So what I'm being guided to do is to show you how to connect in with the humpback whale grids. So as we take a deep breath, just feel into your heart chakra. We call forth the humpback whales of the higher realms, so divine love, divine light, and divine abundance to join us now as we call forth the dolphins and the orcas and all of the whale beings, including the white whales, to come join us. Everybody who's listening today, we call forth each and every soul to really come through and transmit through your heart as you listen, feeling your heart, inviting your soul, inviting your higher self in through your heart, and inviting your heart to make that connection with the humpback whales and the whales and dolphins. And it may be very subtle, but just set the intention. Humpback whales, may I connect with you now? And you may become aware of beautiful humpback whales swimming around you in a circle and beginning to grid your field. So they're beginning to weave in frequency and energy, activating your divine templates, activating the sacred geometries of your own soul and how that uniquely comes through your body, and activating those divine templates. Just allow the whales to do this. You don't have to understand what it means or how it happens. Just allowing the humpback whales to come in and set the field. And now beginning to open up to your higher self. Imagine that your higher self is like a beautiful golden white sun above your head. And this golden white sun is connecting high above to the central sun of Source. Imagining that if Source had a body, it would be this sun high above you. And this central sun is sending this golden white light down to your sun of your higher self that is above your head. And now allow your higher self to flow like a waterfall of starlight into your crown chakra. Imagining this golden white light, golden white diamond platinum light, could even have some glimmers of rainbows coming through, down and through your third eye chakra, your head, your brain. I receive my higher self. And then allowing this waterfall of starlight, which is being further activated by the humpback whales, to flow down in through the base of your skull into your throat chakra. And there's whale songs that are being transmitted into your throat chakra. So you may even hear etherically humpback whale songs coming into your throat chakra or coming out of your throat chakra. You may become aware of sapphire blue in your throat, the oceans of light, blue transmission. And the humpback whales are just beginning to open up your throat chakra more deeply to receive your higher self, to receive the codes of your higher self deep into your throat chakra as you allow that beautiful light to now flow down into your heart chakra. And this is where our dolphin friends come to say hello and activating our heart consciousness. Just feeling your heart activate as you just become aware of. Imagine that dolphins are chatting around you and swimming around you, and in their dolphin language, they're like, "Hey, how's it going?" Nice to see ya. Love ya. And breathing in and allowing your higher self to fill your heart chakra as these dolphins activate your heart and the beautiful temples of your heart chakra, the humpback whale supporting the temples and the kingdoms and queendoms within your own heart chakra to open up and expand as your higher self pours in, pours in, pours in now, more and more deeply to and through your heart. Activating the beautiful crystal and the crystalline structures of your heart chakra. And the humpback whales are now opening up the back of your heart chakra, and they're weaving in energy to support you in opening up to more and more of your soul family. And your team of guides. So, right, interestingly, they're coming through right in the back, the humpback whales channeling energy through the back of your heart, and they're just opening the back of your heart to be receiving. The back of the chakras typically is the area that we receive. It's a very receptive space, any of the back of the chakras. So this is where you allow yourself to receive support. And they're showing me for our unique group of listeners and this heart field in the back of the heart, they're showing me that a lot of you and a lot of us are not actually receiving the support that's truly coming into our lives, whether physically or from the ethers. And they're opening up the back heart to help you receive. How can you receive more support? Some of you are saying, oh, I'm not being supported by the universe and this hasn't shown up, and I've asked for this and this hasn't shown up. And they're just guiding you to open up the back of your heart chakra, and they're guiding you to just receive, like exactly like we spoke about today. What can you receive that feels good? Is there a blue sky outside? Is there a warm, comfortable bed? Is there a drink that you can make yourself today that's so yummy, or you can order, and so healthy and nourishing, but also yummy? They're saying practice receivership. Because in order for you to be at your full service, and they say, we know some of you as you listen have been really feeling, oh, like, I wish I was more of service. I feel like I'm not of service enough. They're saying for some of you, it's that you don't allow yourself to be supported enough so your cup is full enough so you can be of service. Because inherently, intuitively, you know that you just aren't going to be able to pour from your cup because the cup hasn't been fully poured into. So they're saying really connect with your heart chakra, and they're saying we're here for you as guides. They're saying you're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing to be ashamed of. It's just this invitation to receive Gaia's blessings. And they're saying you can start with Gaia. You can start with receiving the beautiful food and bounty of food that she's giving you every day. And receiving the textures and the blankets and the resources that Gaia gives. And the dolphins are just supporting you and opening up the back of your heart chakras now, more and more deeply. All right, and just imagine now a beautiful golden light, the light of your higher self, really supporting you, opening up the back of your heart. Good. Here we go. And then allowing your higher self's light to pour down your solar plexus now. Receiving your own solar codes into your solar plexus. Higher self flowing through your spinal column and into your sacral chakra. Really receiving your soul here. The angels call this your soul chakra because it's, according to them, where we actually receive our soul in our bodies. So receive your soul, receive your higher self. right into the sacral chakra, allowing the humpback whales to activate the waters of your sacral chakra, the ocean of your sacral chakra. And I'm feeling for myself that the humpback whales, there just wants to be more expansiveness in those waters, in the womb and the sacral. So I'm just going to breathe in the humpback whale frequency, the humpback whale sound, my higher self, and just really receive the support that they're giving right now. Imagine that your sacral, your lower back is just releasing and letting go with your next exhale. As the humpback whales connect you more deeply with your star family in your sacral chakra. The humpback whales transmit the star consciousness and are deeply in communion with star nations all over the galaxy, universe, and multiverse. So they're excellent at supporting us, being helpful bridges to bring in the unique star coding and star frequencies of our soul family, our star family, and really allowing us to receive those data points and frequencies that we need to remember who we are and feel safe in our bodies as we bring in more and more of our home frequencies from other worlds, from other stars. Good. And allowing that starlight to activate the waters of your body, of your sacral, as it moves down your higher self into your root. You may feel called to spiral your hips, or you may feel called to just be still. Receiving your higher self deeply into your root chakra. Higher self, thank you for filling me here now. Higher self, thank you for filling me now. Fill my root, and then let that light of your higher self cascade like a waterfall of starlight down your legs, in through your feet. Well, we're just going to ground now into the crystalline humpback whale grids and the whale and dolphin grids. So imagine that there's a lattice work of light made by the light and the sound, that every time a humpback whale sings a song, that every time a dolphin makes a sound, this adds to this crystalline etheric network, this grid work, these song lines of the whale and dolphin energies of love, of light, of abundance. So imagine that, just like you would maybe if your practice is to put tree roots or a grounding cord into the earth, we're going to actually put our grounding cord or our tree roots down into the crystalline humpback whale and dolphin grids of the higher realms, which means of pure love, pure love, pure love, pure light, pure abundance, pure source consciousness. Good. So imagining that your tree roots, your grounding cord is just connecting right in, plugging right into that crystalline structure. And they're like, ooh, we love it when people connect with us here, because not a lot of people know how to do this. And we used to in the times of Lemuria and Atlantis. So the whales and the dolphins, they miss us. They miss this connection. They miss us coming over and hanging out with them and unifying and just being in our unity together. So just connecting, and then send those tree roots, that grounding cord, all the way down into the core crystal, and imagining that there's a humpback whale image right in that core crystal. So really deeply rooting into the humpback whale grids and the very heart of Gaia, those crystalline codes. And then finally, just breathe back up into your heart, receiving what those whale and dolphin grids want to bring to you today, and through your feet, your legs, your root, all the way up into your heart, through your spinal column, your central spinal fluid, activating the fluid in your spine with this whale and dolphin coating. Maybe even seeing that energy come out. You might be familiar with a toroidal field, or if not, just imagine like tree branches coming out of your crown and then coming sort of back down around you. And then the root system comes back up. So it's just this full cycle. Toroidal field. So above, we're receiving Central sun energy from below. We're receiving humpback whale and dolphin Gaia crystalline energy. And that is circulating downwards and upwards through the toroidal field that surrounds our body. Or if that tree image is helpful, through those branches, through those roots, up and down and around. And calling forth your higher self to offer any final pieces to help you to receive and integrate this in coherence. Thanking the humpback whales and the dolphins for offering any, and the Gaia frequencies, the Lemurian beings are also coming through, offering any final pieces that you may need today for your highest and best, your truest and deepest, your fullest expression of being here. Taking 3 deep breaths. Yes. Thank you. I accept. I receive. Just notice how that feels in your body. How does the humpback whale and dolphin frequencies, the starlight frequencies, your higher self, how does that feel? And when you're ready, there's no rush. You can open your eyes back to the space.
Whoa. Just went on a little journey there. Thank you so much, Beth. That was incredible and grounding and filling, and I feel really giddy. And also very just at ease.
Mm.
Yeah. Wow. Such a gift. Such a gift that I hope all the listeners out there enjoyed that as much as I did. I'm sure that they did. Oh boy, it's like interesting to go into that kind of experience when you have to come back out and actually have a conversation after.
I know that happened to me last night in a session that I received. I was like so deep in the elven realm. She was like, I was so, and then we like came back and she's like, so I was like, I'm just gonna go to bed.
You're like, you're like, I'm still here, kind of.
Okay.
So,
well,
yeah.
Yes.
Tell me, what were you going to say?
Well, I assume that to close, you were going to ask, where you can find me and all that kind of stuff.
Look at you, just intuiting all the things. I was just about to ask you that. So, Beth, please, I'd love for you to tell all of our listeners how they can find you and be part of your world.
Okay, so we have a few ways that we can connect. For those of you who love the dolphin humpback whale vibrations, you're like, how can I have more of this? So one, I have a monthly call called the Dolphin Healing Collective. It's free. And we basically just heal with the dolphins and humpback whales every month. Originally, it was meant to be us healing them, which quickly turned out to be them being like, yo, you know what the issue with us is? You guys.
You. Yeah.
So we sometimes do, we've done calls that are more focused on like, transmuting pollution in the ocean and just working with the, in the quantum with prayer to help to help the whales and dolphins with the trauma that they've experienced. But more so now it's really turned into them helping us to heal because they're such evolved beings that really this is the key piece for the oceans to thrive, for the world to thrive. So Yeah, every month it's a different theme. So you can just sign up on my website, Beth Katherine, Katherine with a K.com, and click join the pod. And those are free monthly sessions. And then around the time I think that this podcast will probably come out is when I'll be opening doors to dolphin consciousness. So that's like a really deep dive journey, multiple months. I'm not sure. It's probably going to be 4 or 5 months, where we really are going to heal with the dolphins and the whales and actually work with the dolphins and whales like we would the ascended masters or the angels to support us in abundance, healing our sacred sexuality. We're also going to be doing things like transmuting trauma from the falls of Lemuria and Atlantis.
Mm.
And yeah, and then I'm just on Instagram and YouTube. I've got meditations on YouTube and popping on Instagram to say things. So
Mm. Beautiful. I will put all of those things in the show notes, and I highly recommend also checking it out, Beth's YouTube channel. She just has so many beautiful transmissions, similar and quite different to the one that we did today. So I just want to say thank you, Beth, for sharing your heart and your gifts and that wonderful transmission with us today. It was such a pleasure to have you on.
Yay. Thank you so much for having me on. It's so good.
You're so welcome. Until we meet again, we'll say goodbye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye. As always, thank you so much for listening. Life is busy, so it means even more to me that you are here. Listen, we've got so many great episodes coming up, so please make sure that you follow along on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or wherever you are listening. And if you appreciate these episodes, please do us a favor and leave a review and share the show with anyone you think this episode would benefit. See you again next week. Bye for now.